Gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the key on millions.co. Well, week 11 of the 2025 college football season is in the books. There was a lot of things that happened and a lot of surprising outcomes. And I'm going to get into all of that in a minute. But the game that I covered, BYU versus Texas Tech. Now, I was expecting a much closer game. It ended up being 29-7. BYU, you got some explaining to do. That is the topic for today's show. BYU got some explaining to do. Because, I mean, BYU, look at this. Bear Batchmere, 23 of 38, 188 yards, one touchdown, one interception. And then you have Brad Morin, 17 of 32, 219 yards, one touchdown, and zero interceptions. The running game for the BYU Cougars was non existent. The Texas Tech Raiders had 149 yards on the ground. When we get to the matchups, when it comes to the college football playoffs, is this going to hold weight? Because BYU's offense, they didn't do anything on Saturday. And as far as their third down conversion rate, look at this. Third down efficiency for BYU, 3 of 14, 7 of 18 for Texas Tech. Now, I'm going to show y'all some clips because there's a lot more other teams that I want to get into. I'm going to show y'all some clips of this game. Now, BYU, they had their chance at making this game respectable. So I'm going to pick it up right here. First down and 10, middle of the third quarter, 6 minutes, 56 seconds left. And as you can see, this is first down. So I'm expecting, a run play here because you're not down by that much. You're only down by 2 possessions, really. Because 16 points, you can get 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, and you can tie the game up that way. So basically, you're only down 2 possessions in this game. And Batchmere, he goes back to pass, and he misses his wide receiver wide of the mark. I'm going to show y'all some more. Of this. When it comes to the BYU Cougars, look at this. Offensively, this is 3rd and 8. Look at this 3rd and 8 right here. 3rd and 8, pretty much the same thing. Batchmere goes back to pass. He hits his guy, and that was the first conversion on 3rd down they had all game. And as you can see, now, this guy, he was supposed to be focused on the running back. But the blitz came, and this running back, their backup running back, came in and protected the quarterback. See, without him, the quarterback would have gotten sacked. And as you can see, now on the ensuing drive, here's another 3rd and 8 right here. They were not able to get it. They had a lot of 3rd down situations in this game, and they were not able to convert. See, he threw it short. Now, I always say this when it comes to quarterbacks, when you're in a 3rd down situation, whether it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, why throw it short of the marker? Throw it beyond the marker so when your receiver catches it, it will be a first down. And here is some more. I'm just going to say that now, no, basically, I'm just going to say basically now that was all of the clips that I'm going to show because basically for the rest of those clips, it is nothing but Texas Tech highlights. So BYU. One thing I can say about BYU is when we look at BYU's schedule, you see this is why I always want to go back to the schedule. The schedule makers that make this, because y'all see this. I mean, what a quality win on BYU's schedule? What was that? That was Utah. Because that's the only quality win I see on their schedule. Because everybody else don't mean nothing. And then when you play against a team like Texas Tech that is supposed to be on your level, have the same amount of offense that you have, same amount of defense, and you go out there and you score just one touchdown. All of the build up for this game for only BYU just to score one touchdown. College Football Playoff Committee, you got to get your stuff together. You do. Because we know that the College Football Playoff Committee, their judgment, it holds weight when it comes to the playoffs. But you got to make sure that you put the right teams in place for these playoff games. Because if BYU gets in the playoff and they have an outing like they did versus Texas Tech, I don't want to see that. We don't want to see blowouts in college football, in the college football playoff. No, we want to see good, tightly contested matchups that come down to the last 3 seconds of the game. That's what we want. We don't want to have a lead like it's 22 or 25 and it's already a foregone conclusion before the fourth quarter starts. We don't want that. So, congratulations to Texas Tech, BYU. Go back to the drawing board, see what you can do and get better for the next game. The next game I'm going to cover, I know these first 2 games that I'm covering, they are going to go quick, but I have a lot, and I do mean plenty, to talk about on the back end of college football that I was not able to cover because I was covering both of these games. Now, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, I'm not going to show any highlights. Marcel Reed, 20 of 29, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Matt Zollers, 7 of 22, 77 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Now, I just want to say something. I had somebody a couple weeks ago, I think it was on TikTok or one of the social media platforms, they told me that the backup quarterback for the Missouri Tigers was better than Bo Pribula. And I said that they need to calm down because Matt Zollers came in the game in mop-up duty, and that was against Vanderbilt in a game that they lost. Now you have him in a game in a 60-minute game, and he only completes 7 out of a possible 22 passes. Obviously, I don't know what that fan or whoever he or she was when it comes to saying that this quarterback is better than Bo Pribula. But I'm going to tell y'all something. Matt Zollers is not a good quarterback. He isn't. Bo Pribula is not a good quarterback. You just have below average quarterback play for Missouri. You do. And Missouri, only thing that they can do now, they're not making it to the college football playoff. I can tell you that because that was all done for them weeks ago when they lost to Alabama. That was done for them. That was done for them then. When we get to Missouri, now let me tell you, what has Missouri really done? I mean, over the past, if you go back and look, over the past 40 years, what has Missouri done? I could show y'all on a list what Missouri has done in the past 40 years, but I'm not going to bore y'all to death. I'm going to just keep it short and sweet. For 25 years, between 1980 and with 1985 and 2005, Missouri was near the bottom of college football. Okay, so that's the bulk of it right there. Between 2005 and currently, Missouri has been close to above average. That is what the Missouri Tigers have done. Outside of a few seasons where they exceeded everybody's expectations back in 2014 and in 2022, all of that. But outside of that, it's just been the same exact Missouri Tigers. They win 7 or 8 games. That's the ceiling for the team. They get a bowl game. Whether they lose it or win it, it's still a successful season. Now, that's it for the Missouri Tigers. I don't think that I'm going to cover a game with the Missouri Tigers for the rest of the season. So this is possibly my last time talking about the Missouri Tigers for the rest of this season, I know. But when it comes to them Texas A&M Aggies, and I am going to say this, they are a fine-tuned, well-oiled scoring machine. I mean, we know Texas, they got a bunch of oil wells out there. So this is right up their alley. But Texas Tech, I like what I'm seeing from Marcel Reed. I really am. 20 of 29, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Rushing attack for the Texas A&M Aggies. They had over 200 yards, 243 to be exact. Receivers, KC Concepcion had 84 yards. Texas A&M, I could see them going to Atlanta playing in the SEC championship game. And I'm going to tell y'all something. The SEC championship game is mainly up in the air. You don't know who is going to play in the SEC championship game. Because y'all look, the top 6 rankings, most of the rankings are occupied by SEC teams. Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. So that's 5 of the top 6 slots are occupied by SEC teams. Now, here's another thing I want to get into. Indiana. Indiana stays at number 2. Now, Indiana, they had a scare. They did. They had a scare against Penn State. I just want to talk about Indiana and Penn State right now. Third down efficiency, 5 of 12 for Indiana. Fourth down efficiency for Penn State, 1 for 1. Third down efficiency for Penn State, 8 of 15. Now, if you Indiana, and I know Indiana is benefiting from this good schedule that they have, because, I mean, outside of that win versus Oregon is an average team to me. Illinois, y'all already know how I feel about that Illinois blowout game win. So, when it comes to the Indiana Hoosiers, they'll finish out the season with Wisconsin and Purdue. But we all know that for anybody out there who is a real, legitimate Indiana Hoosiers fan, whether it's 15, 20 of y'all, whether y'all done started y'all own fan group or whatever, Indiana Hoosiers is another team that is a bunch of hype. And the reason why I say they are a bunch of hype because when they face teams that are top-notch competition, they don't even have to go very far to face top-notch competition because they're gonna be facing old Ohio State in the big in the Big Ten championship game. That's what that's gonna be, because Indiana has benefited from I'm gonna say an easy schedule, really easy. I mean, the toughest team that they faced, dare I say it, toughest team that they faced was Oregon, and we see where Oregon is now. Because Oregon, they have only lost one game, and they just won a close game against Iowa Saturday. Just did. They just won a close game versus Iowa Saturday. And let me tell y'all something. When it comes to Indiana, I mean, Indiana, outside of their basketball program, nobody really focuses on Indiana. I just want to show y'all something. When it comes to this list, does anybody see Indiana beating Ohio State? Does anybody see Indiana beating Texas A&M? Does anybody see Indiana beating Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Notre Dame? Now, Notre Dame, they beat Indiana last season. So, Notre Dame, they already have an edge over Indiana before they even play. And Texas and Oklahoma, who knows? Maybe BYU is at the bottom of the 12-team college football playoff where they should be after a debacle they had on Saturday. Now, here's another game. Here's another game that I have a problem with. Now, as far as I'm going to say the top 5 teams in college football, Ohio State, I have no problem with them because they've been blowing out their opponents. And we all know that Ohio State, they pretty much back up what they do when they face top tier competition. Now I'm gonna say as far as the schedule, okay, quality win was against Texas Longhorns. That was the first game of the season. Then we get to October 11th, Illinois. Now, I really didn't put much thought into that game against Illinois because I already knew Ohio State was going to win. But there's one game at the end of this month, November 29th, Ohio State versus Michigan. Now, that is one game that I will be looking at vividly and figuratively because most of the players that play in Ohio State and the Michigan Wolverines game, they go on to the NFL 85% of the time. And most of the scouts in the NFL, they have this game marked on their calendars because this is the NFL showcase game. No matter how other fan bases feel, Ohio State and Michigan is an NFL showcase game. That is exactly what it is, and let me tell y'all, so I cannot wait for that game to get here soon enough. Now, the next team that I see problems with, well, not problems with, but I could see that they have problems when it comes to top tier competition is also, let's see. Also, I could see Ole Miss in this situation too. because Ole Miss, they really haven't been a powerhouse at all throughout their school history. And for them to be this late in the season with only one loss, this may be the best start in school history for the Ole Miss Rebels. You have Florida this week, Saturday, and then you have Mississippi State to end out the season. Possibility that the Ole Miss Rebels, they can finish 11-1, or yeah, they can finish 11-1. A lot of people had them going 10-2, 11-1, so still right on the same projection. But Ole Miss, one thing I can say is, what does Ole Miss look like in a playoff situation? Because we've never seen Ole Miss in a playoff situation ever. So that is the subsequential what if, I can say. Yeah, because when it comes to the soliloquy of the Ole Miss Rebels is a giant question mark right now. And I love Lane Kiffin. I love Lane Kiffin. But regular season games are different than playoff games. Playoff games, you only have one shot and you out of there. You out of there. So, Ole Miss, giant question mark. Giant question mark. The next team that I can see, that they could have possible problems is Texas. Now, I know I haven't covered Texas much this season outside of that first game, but Texas, I see Texas starting to improve, but I'm going to tell you who they have improved against. Now, credit. They beat Oklahoma, who was number 6 at the time, so great quality win there. Vanderbilt, last week, they beat Vanderbilt. Well, excuse me. November 1st, they beat Vanderbilt. This week, they face Georgia in Athens. Then you face Texas A&M to finish out the season. The Texas Longhorns can finish the season 8, because I don't see the Texas Longhorns winning in. I don't see them winning in Georgia. I don't see them winning in Athens. I don't. Arkansas, you got that's a win right there for Texas. So after this week, you could possibly be 7-3, and after Arkansas, you'll be 8-3, and then you have your Texas showdown, your state showdown between Texas A&M and the Texas Longhorns. Now, I really can see Texas finishing the year 8-4, because we really didn't. Now, everybody had high hopes for Texas, but I said, let's hold on. Let's hold all of the celebrations, because even before the season started, they had Texas going to the national championship game, having one of the best stars to go to the national championship game. And then after Ohio State, everybody got brought back down to earth. After they lost to Florida, everybody got brought back down to earth. Can Texas win? If Texas lose to Georgia, which They probably will. If Texas Longhorns lose to the Aggies, which more than likely they will, they can only get a bowl game. They're not going to go to a New Year's Six bowl. They're just going to get an average bowl game. Nothing that holds weight at all. So that's all I got to say for the Texas Longhorns. And I'm just going to go down. First off, when it comes to the rest of this list, now I just want to focus on the 12 best teams. Now, as far as the ACC, who in the ACC is really a top dog? That's the question that I'm having a tough time answering, because Miami, they lost to SMU. And that has pretty much knocked them back. Florida State, we already know how Florida State started off the season hot, winning over Alabama, and then since then, they took a nosedive. Clemson, missing in action all season. Duke Blue Devils are 5-4 right now, missing in action all season. The only team that is really legitimate in the ACC right now is Georgia Tech. Now, I know a lot of people, they don't talk about Georgia Tech at all. But I said for the ACC championship game, I said early in the season it would either be Georgia Tech or Miami. Georgia Tech, Miami, or SMU. Now, SMU, they not too good. They not looking too good like they were last season. Georgia Tech, they the only team in the ACC that is remotely capable of getting to a college football playoff, having a college football playoff berth. All your other nostalgic teams, all your other powerhouse teams like the Seminoles, the Hurricanes, the Clemson Tigers, all of them are done for. I believe so. And not to mention that, there's another team that has came out of the woodworks, the Virginia Cavaliers. Now, when we think about the Virginia Cavaliers, I'm pretty sure a lot of teams, they said Virginia at the start of the season. I thought that, everybody was crazy when they said, the Virginia Cavaliers, they might have a good team. I'm like, yeah, right, because Virginia Cavaliers, they haven't been legitimate at all throughout their school history. And when the Virginia Cavaliers beat the Florida State Seminoles in week 3 early this season, that was their first top 25 win in over 50 years. So that tells you how bad, or I'm going to just tell you how below average that college is, that football program is. For you to only have one top 25 win in 50 years, and here it is, they could have a possibility of being in the ACC championship game. So it could be Georgia Tech or the Virginia Cavaliers in the ACC championship game. And when I look at it, I believe they're your ACC championship game right there. Georgia Tech and the Virginia Cavaliers, and let's see who can win that game and win the ACC championship. Because everybody else in the ACC is downright awful. And check it, we only have at most a good 3 games left. A good 3 games left in this season. So everybody else, the Louisvilles, the Miamis, the Florida States, everybody else is pretty much done for. Miami. I'm going to talk about Miami. Everybody keeps on saying that the Miami Hurricanes are back. And I always keep saying, is Miami really back? Because when everybody, and I keep on saying, and it's been like this for the last 15 years. You start off 5-0, 6-0, 7-0. I remember last year, Miami started out 9-0. 9-0. And they were one of the top 5 teams in college football. But I said, is Miami back? For Miami to be back, for me, they're going to have to win the championship. They really are. They're going to have to win the championship no matter what. And the next 3 games they have, NC State, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh. Now, credit, Pittsburgh is 24th, but I don't see much going on with Pittsburgh. I just don't. So, Miami, they didn't do themselves any favors when they lost to Louisville or SMU. They didn't do themselves any favors. And here is another team that could find a way to sneak themselves in the 12-team college football playoff. Utah. Now, everybody is saying that Utah, yeah, they are pretty much, average and stuff, but Utah, they got some experience. That head coach for the Utah Utes, he's been in this situation where he has had a winning record and had to win out in order to make it to the college football playoff. They did that a couple years ago. Now, Utah, they have Baylor this week, Kansas State next week, and Kansas to finish out the season on November 28th. Now, they could be 10-2. Yeah, 10-2 and find their way in the college football playoff. Now, if Utah wins out, no matter what, you have to put them in the college football playoff. Now, I know that it may come down to BYU and Utah, but after what I seen from Utah on Saturday, I am going to take the Utah Utes when it comes to, that's if they play in the championship game. I would take Utah because Utah, they have the experience. BYU, they faced group of 5 schools, really. That's why BYU is so good and so high where they are at. Because they faced group of 5 schools and Conference USA schools. BYU hasn't faced anybody of significance since before Utah and Texas Tech. I'm going to just go ahead and say it. That is the only significance that BYU has faced. Well, BYU has played as far as team. But all these other teams, when it comes to the 12 team, now I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you this and then I'm going to finish out. I want to see what the college football playoff committee, I want to see how they are going to put, where they are going to put BYU and Indiana. Now, the AP ranking hasn't really changed. Only thing that has changed in the first 12 spots is BYU and Oregon. That's all. And with that, those are my reactions to college football, week 11 of the 2025 college football season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Keytime Sports right here on YouTube. Key City Sports on Instagram, and the KeyOnMillions.co. And remember, everybody, one last thing: the key is always on time.